Happy 2024, you guys. I cannot believe that we are in 2024 and this is going to be my first video. I'm actually filming on New Year's Day, so I just cannot wait to continue sharing my book journey with you all. I started this channel less than a year ago, and it's just crazy how fast a year has gone and how much growth I've had since then. But today I wanted to wrap up December of 2023 and share all of the books that I've read, and then we can start doing some refreshing videos for 2024 that I'm so excited to share. But today I wanted to talk about the 7 books that I read in December. And honestly, December was not it for me because I read mainly Christmas romance books and they were just not hitting, so I was in a bit of a slump. I was kind of sad about that, but I was also busy with family and stuff like that, so I didn't have much time to read. But regardless, reading 7 books is really good, so let's go ahead and talk about them. So I have all of these books today, and we're going to start off with the first book that I read in December. I was really happy to have read this book, and honestly, the more I sit on this book, it hits more. I just don't know how to explain it, but this book is Magnolia Parks, The Long Way Home by Jessa Hastings. This is the 3rd book in the Magnolia Parks universe. I feel like the characters are so real, they're flawed relationships, and yes, they're kind of toxic, but they're fun to read, and I just really like them as an escapism, and I feel like they have so much depth to them. So in this book, you learn more about Magnolia and BJ and their love story, as well as glimpses of the other characters in JayZ Hates. And I just thought that this ending was so devastating. It was very, I don't even know how to describe it, but every book you feel a lot of emotions, and this one I ended up giving 4.5 stars just because I don't think it was a 5-star read for me, but it was a really good book. So it is a chunky book as well, and I annotated so much of this book, so I cannot wait to catch up and read JayZ Hates The Great Undoing. They do talk about drugs, sex, and stuff like that in the series, so just beware. I feel like this book is not for everyone, but definitely give Magnolia Parks a chance. I personally like JayZ's story more, but regardless, this story is very touching as well. So I'm so happy to have read that book. And then the second book I read in December, these are going to be Christmas books. I read Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey, and if you want to see some reading vlogs of my thoughts on these books, then you can go ahead and check them out. This one was the second Tessa Bailey book that I picked up, and I was a little bit disappointed because I've heard some people, they read this book and they didn't really like it. This book is basically about children of 2 musicians, and they were these best friends. Now the best friends have a son and a daughter, and they're trying to reunite their moms to go back to the band. There's also an advantage to reuniting the band. I wasn't into the romance. He called her Peach as a nickname, and I was just not vibing with it for some reason, so I gave this 2 stars. I was a little bit disappointed because I usually like books with one of them is famous, or they used to be famous and stuff like that, so I thought I would like that, but this book was just not hitting, and I didn't really get the Christmas vibes. It didn't make me feel holly jolly, but this book does have some spice in it. Then I read The Christmas Wish by Lindsay Kelk, and this one I was very disappointed by. This one has the Groundhog's Day trope. I didn't know whether I liked that trope or not, and I think I realized that it gets a little bit too repetitive for me. This book is about a newly single lawyer named Gwen Baker, and she goes back to her parents' home to celebrate Christmas with her family. Every day something goes wrong and she wakes up and it's Christmas all over again. She's trying to fix Christmas, make it better. There's supposed to be this romance that I was hoping for, but I actually DNF'd this book at 75%. So I read most of this. I still count this book as a book that I've read because I read more than half of the book, and I honestly gave up because I just didn't see any progress with the romance. There were some messages in here, but it was just not something I was looking for, so I just decided to put this book down because I had so many other romances that I wanted to read. And then I read A Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. And this was a book that I actually purchased last year. I tried to pick it up, but then I just put it back down because I just couldn't get into this book. But this year I'm so happy that I picked this book up again and gave it another chance because I really liked this book. I ended up giving this book 3 stars because I just thought it was a cute holiday read with spice. So there is spice in here if you care about that, but I just thought that it was like a cheesy Hallmark kind of style book. I did think that the concept was very interesting because it was about B. Hobbs, and she is this plus-sized adult film star, and she owns like kind of like an OnlyFans, and she is hired to be a part of this Hallmark movie that her manager is basically like producing. She is working with this co-star, and he's actually subscribed to her OnlyFans kind of. He recognizes her. She was hoping that no one would, so it was very interesting to see all of that. There were some comedic elements in here, and I just thought it was a very interesting, like entertaining book. I just had some fun with this one after reading the other 2 that I did not enjoy. Maybe I'll read the second one because I know that the second one came out this year. Then I put down the Christmas books and actually picked up JayZ Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I listened to this book mostly on Spotify audiobooks, and thank you to all of you that recommended me to listen instead of reading this book. It was like an interview style, so it's perfect because you can hear the different characters and it's like you're there with them. So it was a very good and unique concept for me. I have never read anything like this, and I really enjoyed it. There are trigger warnings because this book does deal with alcohol and drugs. You learn and go through a lot that happened with Daisy and the band. This book is basically about Daisy. She is just this girl in her teens that found music in like the late 60s, and then she gets into that scene, that culture of like rock bands. I think there's also this band that was building up, and so the manager basically decided to combine the 2, and a lot of things happened in this book with each character and just their relationships with each other, and it was just very interesting. But also I loved the character development and just everything that happened at the end, and I did not see that little plot twist in here. But I am so happy that I've read this. I think I ended up giving this 4.5 stars. It was really close to a 5-star read, but yeah, I'm really happy that I was able to pick this book up in December, and I don't know why I've put this book off, but it was a really good book. Then the next book that I read was Snowed In by Catherine Walsh. I really enjoyed her book, her last Christmas book last year. So I was really happy to get into this one, and it was just the perfect holiday read. I feel like there were some spice in here as well, but this was really wholesome and like cute. So I would highly recommend this book if you're looking for a Christmas book next year. This book does have the forced proximity trope that I was looking for, and I did enjoy the beginning of this book, but I think it picked up for me at the 60% mark, and then I just loved it from there. I kind of forgot what this book was about. This book is about Megan. She left Isaac, this golden boy, small town favorite guy, at the aisle. So this was in the past, and then it takes place in the present as well. And now she has known Christian, and they kind of like reunited. So they decided to fake date each other and go back to the small town, spend time with both of their families. And then something happens, and now they're stuck together, and it was pretty spicy. I really enjoyed this book, and I thought it did give me that holiday vibes that I was looking for. Yeah, I gave this book 3.5 stars. My camera's dying, so I need to hurry, but it's crazy that the last book that I read was by the same author of the first book I read in January of 2023, and that would be Morgan Elizabeth. I read pnic Energy. This is her second Christmas book, and I was really excited because I loved the last one. This one is pretty spicy. This is about a single mom. She goes on this dating app, and she matched with this younger guy, but he connected with her on like a friendship level. He was basically trying to get her to date his dad because his dad was a single dad as well, and it's basically about their romance in this small town. And it was really cute to see the relationships between her and her 2 children, as well as the dad, and just their dynamic overall. I just had so much fun. This was really spicy, so I ended up giving this 4 stars because it was perfect. It gave me the holiday vibes, and yeah, I just thought everything was perfect. They did the elf tradition, which I've never done, so it was nice to be a part of that as well. I would highly recommend this book. these were all of the books that I read in the month of December. It wasn't the best reading month, but I'm still happy to have ended this year off by reading some holiday romance reads because I feel like that's the only time I get to read them. So I hope you guys enjoyed my December wrap up. If you guys haven't already watched my January TBR, I think it's really fun because I have a prompt jar that picks out books that I want to read next month, and those books are really good. But thank you so much for being here. Happy New Year, and I cannot wait to see what 2024 has in store for us. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!